Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project 365, episode 1159. Guys, if you're following along on YouTube, please jump on over to WODdoc.com. Check out all of our full-length videos. That's where we house them. So we've been talking about handstand holds, and we talked about the ability to balance basically from the first knuckle here to the bottom of your palm. And then we said if we couldn't do that yet and we were still trying to work on the body position, then we wanted to use a forearm stand because that increases your leverage by a substantial amount, right? Going from this big to all the way down here, right? 4 or 5 times the size. Well, what happens if we just don't have the strength for a forearm stand yet? That means we definitely don't have the strength for a traditional handstand. Well, our headstands still can make us progress, okay? What we want to think about doing is centering our shoulders over our hips. So today what we're doing is we're talking about how we can center our shoulders over our hips and find some awareness both in the anterior torso and the posterior lower back region, okay? So what I'm going to do here is just go through a quick handstand setup. When I do this, there's always 3 points of support, okay? So we have our head and we have our 2 hands. How is it that we have a consistent position where we put our hands in our head? Here's what we're going to do. I briefed over this yesterday. When we put our hands down by our ears right here, and I just bring them out from where I am about shoulder width apart. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to replace my hands or my elbows with my hands, right? So if you look right where my elbows are, my hand is going to go right there. Opposite elbow, and my hand goes right there. So now I have some sort of consistency, right? And that's what I want. Because I don't want to go up one time and I'll be over here, go up one time, go over here, right? I want to develop consistency so now I can just focus on the torso aspects of it, right? So, head down, hands by my ears, replace my elbows, and I come up. Now, from right here, what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to pinch my heels together. I'm going to pinch everything nice and tight so I have a little bit of tension to my adductors, and eventually my knees will come together, okay? Now, from right there, if I feel like I'm starting to kind of like, as the weight centers over, you can see how my belly kind of pushes out just a little bit. That allows me, what I want to think about doing is the same stuff that I do when I'm on my back. In this position, all I want to do is brace. So if I can brace, peel back that arch so I can center my back or place my back towards the ground. That's all I'm trying to do there, right? I'm not contracting, I'm bracing. If I'm getting hit by a punch, rather than doing a crunch, okay? Second thing is squeeze your butt. And we don't have to show an example of what that could be, but back to where I am, my setup is the same. I come up, I feel like my belly is squirting out a little bit. I'm gonna brace, that straightens me up, but my feet are now in front of where my head would be. So I'm just gonna squeeze my butt as I hold that brace, and now that puts me up into that nice, stable position. And you know that I'm getting there because I can pretty much start to let my hands go to a certain extent. Now, I'm not a break dancer, so I'm not that good, but the idea is stable torso by bracing and by squeezing through the glutes, right? And then allowing our hands to do their work. We can gain strength and body position here before we have the shoulder strength. And we'll talk about gaining shoulder strength for handstands and overhead movements tomorrow. Guys, questions, comments, please post them below. And until tomorrow, we're optimizing function to optimize performance.